So Kyra and I were partners for the movement study that we did this week. Between the one exercise with the hands and the one putting it on the shoulder, we went with the shoulder exercise. We found in our improv that there was a lot of weight sharing between the two of us. Rather, that was her hand on my back or my hand on her back. It was also very playfully, like I feel like, having that one rule that you have to have your hand on someone's back the whole time. Like it was kind of like playing tag too, except you're not literally doing this every time because your hand's there. I actually liked improving more. This is for me personally, but I liked improving more than having to set something. Because, like, even with that, you just didn't know what was going to happen versus after getting our two words and having to choreograph to them. Not saying it was hard, but of course it just made you think harder versus just going with what you wanted to naturally do. So I don't know how you felt about that.
Improving was definitely better. I mean, it always is better with a partner until you come up with set choreography, but not based off of prompts. I feel like if it wasn't based off of a prompt, it would have been easier, but creating a visual representation of the two words, I mean, ours are pretty easy words, so it's not like we have to think too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But creating a visual representation of those words is what was probably,
I don't know if it's difficult, but
the mind tricking, I don't know. It's you have to put some thought into it in order for it to work the way that you want it to work.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like our set piece got very different to our improv. Like I said, when we were improvising, it was very like playing tag. And then when we got to our set choreography, and I think maybe it was because we were thinking too hard, which I still love what we made. It's not that, but because I feel like we didn't have that freedom, then we were like, okay, how does this work? Or what did we like in the improv that we could bring to our thing together? And I feel like for the most part, the weight sharing was one of the biggest things from our improv, what we brought together.
Which played a role in like creating the tension, because the weight sharing in the improv, I was always quick to like do a hinge into your hand, so that forced you to like try to push me back up, and that is basically what drove the idea around what we created, instead of just like starting from scratch or.
I was going to say, I will say, with our two words being heavy and tension, even though before we went from being all playfully, again, that weight sharing, because weight sharing, you already have that tension there. I don't want to say it was easy, because it was definitely an exercise that we had to think about, but we were like, oh, okay, literally just that weight sharing, there's already tension, so how can we grow off of that? So it wasn't like weight sharing the whole time.
Yeah. As far as what we created, we got good feedback. It's a very helpful feedback. We worked with Katie, Sydney, and Julia Starr, and they looked at it. They said that it was nice and raving reviews or whatever.
They said that we had a lot of like picture moments that they liked. But I like that they said.
A lot of picture moments, and as soon as we told them the words, they were like, oh, that was clear to read, like we can tell.
They guessed our words before we even told them what they were, so I feel like that's a good thing. Like if you're someone that hasn't even seen it yet can already guess, you're like, oh, that's probably a good thing.
And then they brought into the factor of the tension between the dancers, or since the way we started, you'll see the video, but the way that we started the phrase with me looking past Dominique, and Dominique looked straight to the audience, as like creating the tension between the audience and her, and then us going into a tension fight, I guess. But one of the things that they did say was make it as though one person keeps the tension with the audience, or we switch off the tension with whoever's looking at the audience, we make sure we return back to that so it doesn't leave the audience like guessing.
Which getting that feedback, and maybe it's because we weren't literally, because this exercise wasn't based off of, our focus and things like that, but I don't know, I guess when we were learning it, I wasn't thinking too much about the focus, but also, and like she said, you'll see the video, but even in the beginning, because I was staring, like I wonder what would have happened then if my eyes were closed. Like would they have said the same notes about the tension between us if my eyes were closed? Because with her just hanging there, that was just showing, the heaviness. So, I don't know, and I feel like, because they were like, well, maybe you need to look at each other to connect. Me personally, her just hanging on me or me hanging on her, that's already a connection. Because if I was very not stable and had that tension, there's no way she would have been able to hang on me, and there was no way she would have been able to get into that hinge. So I feel like sometimes when people say connect, it doesn't mean I literally need to look into somebody's eyes. So again, it was just
a connection.
Yeah. So of course, again, just a note that they said, but I wanted to talk about that because I definitely went home and I was like, well, you don't always need to connect this way. Like, sometimes you can just connect body, hand to hand, or whatever it is. So that was something that I really wanted to talk about that they said.
I think that's it.
That's it.
TED Talk.
You'll see our video.
And about 3 videos down from it.